Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Nancy, and if you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe, share and like my videos, and also put on your notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. So this is a requested tutorial on how to make a female straight pants, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to make the waistband, the fly zipper and the side pockets. So these are the essential measurements we need for the straight pants. The first measurement I'll be listing here will be the horizontal measurements, which is the waist circumference, the hip circumference, the thigh circumference. And for the vertical measurements, we need the waistline to the hip line, and we need the waistline to the crotch line, and we also need the full length of the pants, which is 41 inches. So let's get started. This is the African print fabric called Ankara, and I'll be making use of 2 yards for a small size person. The first step is to fold the fabric into 2, and to get the wideness of the fold, you divide the thigh circumference by 2 plus 1 inch sewing allowance to that. For instance, the thigh circumference is 23 inches divided by 2, that's 11.5 plus 1 inch extra, which will make it 12.5 inches. So you can see that altogether on this fabric I folded, I have 13 inches. So the wideness is enough for me to achieve the front piece. This pant has a waistband which is 1 inch wide. To place the accurate measurement, the first step is to mark the length of the pant. The length of the pant is 41 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 41 inches first, and then I would add 2 inches sewing allowance to the hem, which will make it 43 inches. After marking the length of the pant, the next step is to deduct the 1 inch band that will be added to the waistline of the pant. So practically, the distance between this line at the top and at the bottom is the full length of the pants. Now the next step is to mark the vertical measurement that was taken from the waistline to the hip line, which is 9 inches. The next step is to mark the vertical measurement taken from the waistline to the crotch depth line, which is 11 inches. Alright guys, we are done marking the vertical measurements. So this is the waistline, the hip line, the crotch depth line and the full length of the pants. The next step is to mark the horizontal measurements. Alright, so the fact that we are trying to achieve a straight pant doesn't stop us from making a shape on the pants. Now on the waistline, which is on the folded side, I'm just going to mark 1 inch to connect it to the hip line. And the reason I used 1 inch is because I don't want it to be too curvy since it isn't a fitted pant. So the essence of taking this 1 inch to connect it to the hip line is just for the pant to look feminine on your body. The next step is to mark the horizontal measurements. Now on the waistline, I'll place the waist circumference. The waist circumference is 28 inches. I'll divide it by 4 and that will be 7 inches. But since I want a waist that, I'll add half inch to that and that will be 7.5 inches. So you can see that my 7.5 inches started from the 1 inch I deducted by the side first before I placed it on the waistline. The next step is to mark 1 inch sewing allowance by the side. Now on the hip line, I'll place the hip circumference divided by 4. Plus 1 inch sewing allowance by the side. And on the crotch depth line, I'll be placing the thigh circumference. So when placing the thigh circumference, you'll be dividing the thigh circumference by 2 and not by 4. So the thigh circumference is always divided by 2 since the 2 legs are separated. And by the side, I'm going to mark 1 inch sewing allowance to the side. So you might be wondering why I'm just using 1 inch sewing allowance. The reason I'm making use of 1 inch sewing allowance for just the crotch curve is because I do not want center seam of the front piece to have any excess fabric there. I want it to be really flat and balanced. The next step is to connect the 3 points together to form the crotch curve using a curved ruler. To know the measurement in getting the wideness of the hem, I'll place my tape on the crotch depth line to take the measurements with the sewing allowance included. So here I have 12.5 inches. So I'm going to subtract 1.5 inches from that 12.5 inches, and that will be 11 inches. Now I'll place 11 inches on the hem line to mark. To connect this 11 inches point to the crotch depth using a straight ruler as shown. Next step is to cut the front piece out. After cutting out the front piece, I'll fold the fabric into two to place the front piece on it to cut out the back piece. To know the wideness of the fold I need for the back piece, since the wideness of the fold I used for the front piece was 13 inches, I'll just add about 2.5 inches to that, and that will be 15.5 inches. So the wideness of the fold I'll be making use for the back piece is 15.5 inches. The next step is to place the front piece on the back piece as shown. For the front piece, I need to eliminate half an inch from the center seam of the waistline by placing my tape on the waistline to mark half an inch below the waistline and connecting it to the edge of the waistline. So by eliminating this little piece, after attaching the band, you realize that the center front of the waistline relaxes properly. Okay, so I'm going to trim this out. So for the pants, it is always advisable that the back is longer than the front, and to achieve this I'm going to add about 2 inches above the waistline of the front piece to connect this point to the side of the waistline. Now I'm going to extend this slant line a bit because I'll be adding sewing allowance to the side of the back piece. Now the sewing allowance I'll be adding to the waistline is 1.5 inches, and the sewing allowance on the hip line is also 1.5 inches. Now on the crotch depth, I'm going to be adding 2.5 inches, but someone with a bigger butt, you can use 3 inches. And by the sides of the pants, I'll just keep marking 1.5 inches down to the hem. The next step is to cut out the back piece. The next step is to mark the darts on both the front piece and the back piece. To achieve the darts, you divide the bust span into two. Our bust span is 6 inches. I divided it into two and that gave me 3 inches. So I added 1 inch to that, which made it 4 inches. Now I'll place my tape from the center seam of the front piece to mark 4 inches on both the front piece and the back piece as shown to notch. And after notching, I'll take this piece to the sewing machine to secure the darts for both the front piece and the back piece to a dart length of about 4 inches. And after I secured the darts, I decided to work with just the front piece alone because I need to make the side pockets and the fly zipper. Now I'll be showing you the easiest way to get the side pocket for a pant. So what I do is I place the two pieces of the front piece on each other, that's right side to right side, and on the cuffed part of the pants I'll place my tape on the waistline to mark 2.5 inches, and the length of the pocket I mark is 7 inches. Now I'll connect the 2 points together using a straight ruler. The next step is to trim out. To cut the main pocket, I'll keep this front piece aside to fold my fabric into two. For a standard pocket measurement for this pants, I'll be working with a length of 10 inches and a pocket wideness of 8 inches. So just to give the pocket a little shape at the bottom, I'll place my tape on this line to mark the midpoint. And on this vertical line, I'll place my tape to mark 1.5 inches to connect the 2 points together. And with this, you would be able to form the curve at the bottom of the pockets. The next step is to cut out the pockets. Since this is a single pocket, I also need to place this on the fabric to cut out the second pocket. So we'll be having just 2 pockets. The next step is to place the pockets on each other, right side to right side. And for this little piece I kept aside, now I'm going to take this to place it on one side of the pocket to trim out exactly the same shape with the little piece I placed on the side of the pocket. The next step is to attach the pockets to the front piece of the pants. To achieve this, I'll separate the 2 panels of the front piece as shown. Now I'll also place the pockets on the shaped side, making sure that I'm placing the right side of the pocket on the right side of the front piece. Now I'm going to take them to the sewing machine to secure this slant side of the pocket by 1/2 inch. After I secured this side, I'll turn the pocket over to flip it in as shown, and then take this to the sewing machine to secure this slant side of the pocket directly on the fabric by 1/4 inch, just to make a straight stitch. I will also repeat the same sewing process for the other side of the pocket. So obviously you can see I've secured it by 1/4 inch, and I also repeated the same process for the second pocket. The next step is to fold the pocket into two. Obviously you can see that after I folded the pocket into two, I pushed the pocket out by the side a little, and that's the reason why the pocket is looking complete. So this will replace the little piece I cut earlier by the side just to get the pocket measurements. Have you seen it? Now you might be wondering that how did I know that this is the amount of fabric I need to push out? Well, I didn't just guess. So this is how to go about it. You place the little piece by the side to be sure that it's actually the same with the piece I held. So you can see I'm also going to place it at the other side to be sure, and if I realize that the pocket I pushed was too out, I'll just adjust it, and if it isn't too out, I'll just leave it that way. After this, the next step is to pin the waistline and the pocket so it doesn't shift when trying to sew it. So I'm just going to pin the waistline of the pocket. The next step is to lift the pants to secure the bottom of the pocket by 1/2 inch. Make sure you stitch it very well so that you don't lose an item that is inserted into your pocket. So I'm also going to do the same for the second pocket. So I've secured the bottom of the pocket. Alright guys, like I said earlier, this tutorial has been requested by different people, and based on my YouTube analytics, I would say that about 205 people requested for a straight pants tutorial, how to make a fly zipper and the side pockets on a pant. So I won't be rushing this tutorial because of the amount of people that requested for it. So this is the part 1 of this tutorial, and the next tutorial I'll be uploading is the continuation of this tutorial, which will be the part 2. If you'd like to learn how to make a shirt to rock your pants, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. And if you would like to learn how to make a fly zipper, because I actually have a tutorial on how to make just a fly zipper, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. Thanks for watching to the very end. And if you are new to my channel, kindly subscribe, share and like my videos, and also put on a notification bell if you don't want to miss the continuation of this